Alright YouTube, and welcome to another Borderlands 3 theory and speculation video. I'm actually really excited to talk about this one because I'm pretty sure I've developed a pretty solid theory right here that I'm going to stand by 110% until we find out whether or not it's true at Borderlands 3's release. This is a topic that has been bothering me and probably most of the Borderlands community for a while now, and that is the mystery of Emily Swan and who exactly she may actually be. Now, with some new details we have about Borderlands 3 as well as a few insights into some new characters, I believe that we now have a really good prediction for who Emily Swan is, along with some convincing evidence to back it all up. So without further ado guys, let's jump into the video. For this video I have sourced a bunch of different relevant cutscenes and audio log files from the Borderlands games, and as always guys, the links to their original sources can be found down below in the description. I try not to let anything I use in my videos go uncredited, so be sure to check the links down below if you want to see where they're originally sourced from. So if you're not aware of who Emily Swan is, I'll go over the basics and include a few key parts from the audio quotes. Emily Swan is a character who we know virtually nothing about aside from the small amount of information that we get during Borderlands the pre-sequel from a series of echo logs located in Stanton's liver. The echo logs are not tied to a side quest or story mission and are therefore missable, meaning that this information may have actually slipped past some of you guys. These echo logs are instead tied to a challenge by the name of Digging Up the Past that will get you 5 badass points. In my personal opinion, these echoes form the most interesting and compelling storyline opportunity that the pre-sequel has presented us with, and I think that if Gearbox don't roll with it in Borderlands 3 and make something of this, or potentially make this theory come true, then it's a major missed opportunity in my eyes. So the echo logs are recorded from the perspective of Emily Swan's mother, Annie Swan. She is a dial contractor for Keep It Spotless Cleaners. Annie is very low on money and can't properly take care of her daughter Emily, whose sickness is gradually getting worse. It is never stated in the echo logs how old Emily Swan is, but we can assume that she's a young child, possibly even a baby. We know this because in the 4th echo log, Annie refers to her daughter as My Little Moonbeam. We also get no insight into what the illness is that Emily has contracted. However, I will touch on that a bit more later on. Annie tells of how she feels like she's being watched and has a set of eyes upon her, and I'll play the first audio log right now.
Annie Swan, dial contractor for Keep It Spotless Cleaners. If Mum could see me now. Still, cash is short. Emily's sicker than ever and the universe isn't overflowing with free medical care. Still, picking up after dial's fittest and finest lets me sniff out some juicy nuggets of camp gossip. Beats reading a book. Someone's out there though. I can feel eyes on me. Have I got a stalker? In
the second audio log, it is revealed that she saw whatever had been watching her.
I saw it. Him? Her? Late one night I was scrubbing the latrine intake valves when I looked up and, in the distance on a hill, there it was. Tall, spindly, sliced in half by shadow and still as the dead. Watching me. An alien. I'm not sure what to tell the camp commander. She'll think I'm nuts. And Nurse Nina told me Emily's getting worse. I can't lose this job.
From the description that she gives in this echo log, we can confirm that this is the mysterious character who also features in the pre-sequel, known as the Watcher, and Annie even refers to them by this name in the 4th and final echo log, which is where the name the Watcher originated from. Much like Emily Swan, there isn't a whole lot we know about the Watcher, but what we do know is that they are an alien entity of Eridian origin and has an appearance similar to that of a Guardian. They only appear in the pre-sequel via cutscenes, once at the beginning where it telekinetically blocks Jack's bullets when he fires at Zarpedon, and once again at the end of the game where the Watcher actually saves Athena's life in the same way from being executed by a firing squad as ordered by Lilith. So in the 3rd echo recording we learn that Annie Swan's money situation is tighter than ever and that Emily is now skin and bone.
Not sure what to think of this crazy universe. I didn't end up mentioning my little alien friend to Captain Scott. Money's tighter than ever, and Emily's skin and bone, though I know Nina's trying her best. Then last night, after lights out, it appeared, looming over me. I near had to clean up after myself. It only said 6 words. She will live. Leave this moon.
It only said 6 words. She will live, leave this moon. Interestingly, we know from the other echo recorders in the pre-sequel that the Watcher had also appeared before Zarpedon and shown her the way to the vault on Elpis, which in turn led to Zarpedon's plan during the pre-sequel. And in the 4th and final echo recorder, it is revealed that Emily has recovered and that the two have moved off of Elpis to Pandora by order of the Watcher.
Emily's recovered. Can you believe it? A real miracle. Nurse Nina said some kind of purple light lit up her med bay an hour ago. Then my little moonbeam woke up. I've chucked my job and used the rest of my savings to buy 2 tickets off Elpis. Emily and I are off to Pandora to start afresh. I don't know who or what that Watcher alien is, but thank you.
So how does this link to Borderlands 3 and who do we think that Emily Swan is? I strongly believe that Emily Swan is Ava, Maya's Siren apprentice, and here's why. In that final echo log, we learn that a purple light lit up where Emily was resting, and then she woke up and recovered. We know from dialogue in Borderlands 2 that Iridium has healing properties when used on a Siren, and we know this from when Jack kidnaps Lilith and injects her with Iridium over and over, saying that her wounds were just healing right back up. I'll play that audio quote now. I don't think it is a coincidence that they mentioned the fact that the beam was purple. I think that is something very important that Gearbox wanted us to know about. And obviously the one thing in the Borderlands universe that we all relate to being purple is Iridium and Slag. So what if Emily Swan is a Siren, which makes sense if she turns out to be Ava, because we know from the trailers that Ava is Maya's Siren apprentice, and Emily Swan was given Iridium by the Watcher in order to save her life. But why would the Watcher be interested in saving Emily's life anyway? Well, if we fast forward to the end of the pre-sequel to the moment the Watcher saves Athena's life, we get this quote.
Now is not the time for bickering, Vault Hunters. War is coming, and you will need all the Vault Hunters you can get.
So the Watcher appears to have some kind of future sight and knows what will be important in the future. I believe that the Watcher rescued Emily Swan as a child because they would eventually need her for this great war, which will presumably be coming in Borderlands 3. And this is the exact same reason why the Watcher saved Athena's life. But how can we back up the fact that Emily Swan is actually Ava? So we know that there must be a balance of 6 Sirens in the universe at any given time. As of Borderlands 3, the living Sirens that we know of are Lilith, Maya, Amara, Ava, and Troy and Tyreen. But let's exclude the Calypso twins from this number for the time being because their Siren origins come under a whole separate theory that I may do a video about. Things may get a little confusing here because I'm going to be bringing in the timeline, but I'll try not to talk too much rubbish and make things confusing. So in the timeline, Borderlands 1 happens first. Commandant Steele, who is a Siren, dies, and then a year or 2 passes. Then we get the events of the pre-sequel where we get the Emily Swan echo logs, where Emily is revealed to be either young or a baby. Now we do not know when these particular echo logs were actually recorded prior to finding them in the pre-sequel, but if we assume that they take place at a similar time to the death of Commandant Steele in Borderlands 1, then it could be possible that Emily inherited the Siren abilities of Commandant Steele after her death, and that Emily got these either at birth or as a baby, so that the universe can maintain its balance of 6 Sirens. If Emily was a baby when she inherited the Siren powers, then this could perhaps explain why she became sick and needed Iridium, which was then given to her by the Watcher in order to survive. We know now from the cut audio lines featured in the Sirentology quest in the Commander Lilith DLC that Lilith had her powers since birth, but Angel only developed hers at age 5. So with this knowledge, we know that Emily could have developed them either as a child or when she was born. Either way, this matches up well with the timeline in relation to when Commandant Steele passed away. So when we see Ava in the Borderlands 3 trailer alongside Maya, she looks somewhat like a young teen, or possibly even a bit younger. If we go back to the Borderlands timeline and say that Emily is age 2 by the end of the pre-sequel, and then count forward towards Borderlands 3, we can find out roughly how old Emily should be during the time of Borderlands 3, and how this matches up with Ava's appearance. So after the pre-sequel, 3 to 4 years pass leading into Borderlands 2, which would then make Emily 5 or 6 years old. After the events of Borderlands 2 and Tales, less than a year passes leading into the Commander Lilith DLC, which would then make Emily either 6 or 7. Then after the Commander Lilith DLC ends, leading into Borderlands 3, roughly 6 years pass, which would make Emily 12 or 13 years old at the time of Borderlands 3, which in my opinion is a pretty good age estimate for how old Ava looks in the Borderlands 3 trailer. Additionally, we already know that Emily Swan and her mother moved from Elpis to Pandora, so it is possible that during her time on Pandora, Emily became orphaned and ended up under the guidance of Maya. This is just an assumption and is not based on any real evidence, but we do know in Borderlands 3 that the Calypsos, or specifically specifically Tyreen, can drain Siren powers. So what if they got word of Emily's whereabouts and came to take her powers, and Maya took her under her wing, changed her name from Emily Swan to Ava in order to protect her, and that is where we will take off from in Borderlands 3. Another side point I want to bring up, which I did with a little bit of research, is the meaning behind Ava's name. And the only reason it crossed my mind to Google this and figure it all out is because I actually do a lot of script and plot writing, and I'm really interested in storytelling techniques in books and in film and TV. More often than not, the meaning behind a character's name can have huge implications about either the fate of the character, the backstory of the character, personality traits of the character, or it can even be used to foreshadow certain events and big reveals that may come later on relating to that particular character. So the name Ava, which is Emily Swan's new name if this theory is correct, is a Latin variant of the name Eve, which means to live. If we're talking about Ava as being Emily Swan here, this could reference the Watcher saying the line, "She will live," and then proceeding to save her life. In Hebrew, there is the name Chava, which is the Hebrew version of the name Eve, and it means life or living one. And honestly, at this point, I'm beyond convinced that Ava is Emily Swan. In fact, I'm 110% certain that she will turn out to be Emily Swan. And if I do turn out to be wrong, then I don't know. I'll do a face McShooting, like one of you shoot me in the face or something, but don't hold me to that. But honestly, I think this theory has a lot of supporting points behind it, and yeah, it's something I've been thinking about way too much, so I do apologise if this theory has been kind of crazy or confusing with the timeline and all that. It's something that I really do hope we'll find out more about and get an answer to in Borderlands 3. A lot of people seem to be thinking that Gearbox have ignored the Watcher storyline altogether, since it wasn't mentioned in the Commander Lilith DLC at all, despite the fact that it had quite literally just happened in the timeline. I'm clinging on to the hope that something does get done with the Watcher and Emily Swan in Borderlands 3, and I do really hope that Ava turns out to be Emily Swan, a character that hardcore Borderlands lore nerds like myself have been speculating about for a long time. So I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Drop me a like on this video if you did, and be sure to leave a comment down below if you can pick a hole in this theory, or if you have a better one. I always love to hear your guys' thoughts, especially on theories and lore, because that's what interests me the most. Consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and enjoy this kind of content. I'll be making videos like this way more frequently when Borderlands 3 rolls around, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks as always for checking out the video and supporting the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.